Alrighty, we are here on Waterfall for game number 1, and spawning here at the top right. He hails from Korea, and he plays with the team of Dragon Phoenix Gaming. Make some noise for Rogue.
And once again, with a very good showing in a TVP last series, now playing in a TVZ from Shopify Rebellion, it is Byun. Alright, an update for all of you who may or may not care about this. Byun has 6 camera hotkeys. Gasp!
Wow, that's a lot of hotkeys.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, like, how... Man, does he have, like, a miniature keyboard or something? Like, literally, like, the caps are physically smaller, but then how would you avoid fat fingering it, right? Like, it's just... it's amazing how these pro players manage to, you know, play at such a high level so quickly.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and these are players that has been playing for maybe even well over a decade by now, right? So...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they have had a lot of experience, and they have. I'm sure when they started off as newbies in the game, might not have started off with 6 hotkeys, camera hotkeys to start off the game, but they have worked to the points where they have efficiently utilized 6 camera hotkeys.
No. As we know, Snoopy, I'm sorry, I have to correct you there. As all of our viewers also know, StarCraft is a very easy game where, you know, people dominate because they're naturally good at it, and there's no work involved, and Byun just had 6 hotkeys straight from the beginning.
Oh man.
No, of course I'm kidding, but...
I apologize. I mean, I forgot. When you're born as a Korean, you automatically know how to utilize, 5 hotkeys at the very least as a baby, you know.
Yeah. Before they called it the GSL buff, it was just the SK buff. It was the soul buff, you know? Oh, man. Oh, look at that. Excellent Reaper micro. Jeez, I never get tired of seeing Byun in his Reaper micro. I mean, literally 1 hit away, right? Either from a Zergling or from a Queen. But nope, still keeps it alive. And it gets 2 Ling kills, I believe. Or maybe 1 Ling and 1 drone.
Yeah,
sure.
1 Ling and 1 Creep Tumor. Yeah.
Got it. Oh, interesting. So the Creep Tumor counts as a kill because the Reaper shows 2 kills? Interesting.
Yeah. And interestingly enough, they show in the units lost tab. Who knew that Creep Tumors were considered units, right?
Oh, wow. That's actually pretty mind-blowing. They could be the only unit in the game that doesn't move.
I know, right?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, you have to be kidding me. This Reaper actually gets out. It just took a stroll, it took a tour of the main base. And it liked that it decided it didn't like what it saw and then just decided to leave. Crazy.
Yeah, it's like that Reaper was like bathed in butter and was able to just slip on through.
Oh, speaking of slippery units, we're seeing Cloak Banshees coming up, so this is a... If Rogue is not ready for this, then he could suffer a lot of damage.
Yeah, I don't think he has scouted this, but it looks like the Overlord will finally come in, and yes, he does finally see the starport with the tech lab. Also sees the tech lab kind of researching now. The question is, will Byun, after knowing that Rogue knows that he's going for Banshees, will he cancel that cloak research? Or will he continue and let it finish? Looks like for the time being, he is going to let it finish.
You know what? If I were him, I would fully commit. I would put down an armory immediately, and then I would get Hyperflight Rotors. That way we get speed Cloak Banshees. And I would play nothing but Hellion Banshee for the rest of the game. I speak from experience. It works 100% of the time. It's a very good build.
I feel like it's like one of those, like, maybe those meta games where if you scout like a, for example, if you scout a Protoss going for DT and you see a Dark Shrine, right? You're like, okay, I'll put out some Spore Colors. He's probably gonna. He knows that. I know that he's going for DTs. He's probably not gonna commit too much to it. He's either gonna cancel that Dark Shrine or he's just gonna make a few DTs and then just call it a day. But you never expect that Protoss to go for like blink DTs right after right after getting scouted with the Dark Shrine.
Oh, but I will say my prediction was like not entirely correct. Oh, well, hold that thought. A bunch of Hellions are going to just stroll into the main base. There was, of course, that semi-wall with the Evo Chambers, which I do like a lot, but these Hellions and the Banshees are going to pair up together. They're going to deal so much damage here. Oh, no! Rogue losing almost 20 drones and might lose more with the Banshees going off to the third base instead. Queens are not going to be able to reinforce that side just yet. Oh, this is a disaster. I don't think Rogue was expecting this. What happened? Maybe he overdroned, maybe he didn't have enough queens, but like this is a pretty solid queen count, right? I guess it was just an unexpected number of Hellions, right?
Yeah, looks like he just was caught off guard, and also he wasn't able to block in time. He had the queen to block the ramp to the natural, but and then also he didn't have enough links to stop that many Hellions. So, unfortunate for Rogue there. He is gonna fall down all the way to 50 drones right now, which is
and it's already 7 minutes.
Yeah, and also gotta keep in mind, Byun has 3 bases. He's got the energy for those meals. He's gonna kind of look at the income graph. He's just gonna spike up.
Right, now hopefully Rogue has sort of caught on to the fact that this is not standard, this is not, this is not typical. This is going to be mech, in fact, as we do see 2 Thors already on the production tab. Wow, this is a commitment. So we do see a bunch of additional Hellions coming into the third base of Rogue. Rogue did try to do a little bit of a block. I do like that Roach Warren placement, right? It does help to control the mineral line a little bit more effectively. And of course, every little bit helps. Now, these Hellions are going to stay on creep. They, of course, do have Blue Flame able to roast those links, almost all of them. The queens do finally arrive, but is it going to be enough? Oh, look at that! The single queen is going to block. Oh, and the counter move, the Hellbats are going to bust. I love this. This is the battle of the century. But it looks like there will be enough queens to hold it off. That was amazing, Snoopy. That was the crispest thing I have ever seen in this matchup.
Oh man, yeah, that was absolutely fun to see. Blocking it, that was he had only a microsecond to turn that drone into a evolution chamber to block off, as well as the queen, and then change it into Hellbats. But of course, Rogue with those transfuse was able to keep that queen alive, so the Hellbats weren't able to get into the middle line. Just really great back and forth by both players. Yeah,
definitely. I love what Byun is doing with his... Well, I don't love the random tank coming into the middle of all those Ravagers. Okay, you know what? Forget what I said. I don't love it. I like it. I like it in theory. I'm just gonna walk back those words just for a quick second. What I was gonna say is that I really like the theory of, or in theory, playing mech as though it were bio, right? You just keep on pushing forward and you just sort of parade push with Hellions acting as Marines or something like that. But obviously in practice it's a little more difficult to do that, as Zerg does have the Roach Ravager tech option, and it's very durable against that kind of army composition. Now we do have the, what is this? Snoopy, what is this? This is a double Terran drop. This is a double Thor harass. This part I really do love.
Yeah, he's like you said, playing like a Bao player. In Bao, you just drop constantly against your opponent, and that's what he's doing. Except this time around, doesn't got Marines or Marauders. Screw that. Go ahead and load on doors.
That's right. Much more efficient in terms of human resources. You just need 1 pilot for 6 supply.
I know, right?
Oh man, and look at that, these Thors are actually doing a lot of work. They're going to be killing off Overlords, they're going to be clearing creep. And Rogue is probably playing one of the most uncomfortable games in on these new maps. I mean, I don't doubt that he's probably played on these new maps already, but this has to be one of his more uncomfortable games. And what I mean by that is that his map vision is so limited, his economy is behind, and even though he's on Roach Ravager Ling Tech, a very low tier army, a very supply heavy army, he's still behind in supply up against mech of all unit compositions.
Yeah, this is not a great position. Oh, and that those doors even get the kill, not even the cancel on that hatchery. Right. And now Byun is going to go ahead and put on some pressure into the left side. Those two doors still hammering away, dealing out damage here. I mean, that door is like pretty much, you know, Thor and Mighty Thor. I mean, we have yeah. Thor Love and Thunder coming out very soon. I mean,
oh man, yeah. I mean, these Ravagers and Roaches, they are not doing so well against the Thors, which are still going strong. Oh man, like Byun, relax. Your micro is so good. Oh, and I love this, including just another Banshee. I believe this Banshee was produced later into the game. A bunch of drones are going to be falling once again. Ravagers, of course, not the best anti-air unit, as they do, in fact, not shoot up. A couple of Queens will reinforce, but Byun has himself a very deep siege tank line set up to the south. So it looks like he's probably going to try to end the game pretty soon. He is maxed out. His opponent is not quite maxed out, but oh, I don't know if this is the move. Taking a lot of siege tank hits. That's right. GG is called. Byun is going to take this game.
So when you join a team called Shopify Rebellion, is the first thing you do is to go out shopping, or do you just go ahead and rebel?
Oh, good point. See, if you rebel first, that kind of ruins the point of the team, right? It's like, hey, I just joined, thank you so much, but also F you, like, I'm not going to conform. And shopping is a nice way to celebrate joining a team, right? I say shopping for sure.
Oh yeah. Get that raise. Go out and spend it. Shopping. What would you shop first?
Oh
wait, I know what you're gonna shop for. You're gonna shop for a new graphics card.
Yeah, exactly. Well, actually, recently I've been so I'm a bit of a car guy. I was presenting my car at a car show. Been doing some work on it. So after that, I would get a graphics card. Well, I say after that because I just finished finally working on her yesterday, which is why I started looking for a GPU today. So yeah, you're right. That is the first thing I would shop for, I would say.
Wow, I did not know you were a avid car guy.
Oh yeah. I think that, you know, people in the StarCraft community, well, really people in any community, they tend to have a lot of interests that maybe are pretty different or pretty unexpected. Like, I'm sure you have a lot of different interests, for example.
Oh, Cynical Death wants to know what car are we talking about?
Oh, sorry. That information is private. It's, well, honestly, like, if I showed chat pictures, I don't think it would be recognizable because it's very, like, it's debadged, it's modified, like, heavily modified, so yeah, I don't think, even if I told you the name, you would believe me.
You know, I'm just gonna choose to believe that it's a Bigo car that is decked out in a Pikachu kind of design.
Oh man, that actually sounds really wholesome. I like that. I appreciate that. Thank you. Okay, so this Overlord is gonna come into the main base here. It's gonna scout that the tech lab is gonna be producing something, and it is in fact on the barracks. So this is the first clue that Rogue has, you know, showing that Byun is in fact probably going for stim, probably going for some sort of bio timing. This is confirmation basically of Byun's tech.
my god, that Overlord. So close to dying. Got
Right.
8 life on that. No, if I was the Viking, I would have just gone for it.
Yeah, definitely. Now, would you rather be a Viking pilot or an Overlord?
Oh, Viking, definitely. I mean, first of all,
Yeah.
Vikings are much faster than the Overlord, and you can, of course, travel on ground or on air. So, yeah, definitely a Viking.
Yeah. You know, the more I thought about it, the more I figured those two actually are not comparable at all. Because I feel like, you know, being a Viking pilot, like you're a soldier, you're a pilot in some sort of air force. If you're an Overlord, like the most military-esque thing that you do is scout. And when you do that, you're basically, you know, sentenced to death. On an Overlord's best day, it literally just sits there and it exists. It just like floats and does nothing, and it's such a peaceful life. It's like not a soldier at all.
Yeah, I mean, the only attack it has is the poop attack, because...
Yeah, and even then, their poop is actually what nourishes Zerg, you know? The creep is actually like food or something like that.
Yeah. Oh, actually, one of our viewers saying I'd be an Overlord just so I wouldn't have to battle.
Oh, hell yeah. See, that's what I'm saying. I love that response. Speaking of battling, that one scouting Ling just got annihilated by those Marines. But it did show that very important information to Rogue. So Rogue knows that this is not going to be, you know, some crazy 2-base push. He does see that that 3rd base is producing, so he will feel free to drone up to... Oh my god, that is so many drones on the production tab.
Oh wow, yeah. He is going heavily on that drone key, and looks like he's just wanna... He kind of recognizes that there is not going to be an attack coming, because so far Byun has played pretty passively. He's poking in and out with a few units here and there, but for the most part, he has not... Byun has not moved out with a big army. He is gonna finally move out with a couple of Marines, but pretty much not the scariest of units, or the scariest of army. Rogue has plenty of banelings and lings to deal with that, and yeah, right. It looks like he is not only gonna go ahead and get greedy on the drone and the worker production, but also on the tech, as he has thrown down his Hydralisk den, got the baneling speed as well, getting a bunch of research. You see so many upgrades here for Rogue.
I like what Rogue is doing. He sort of recognized that, hey, this 1-1 push at the very least is going to be quite delayed. Of course, 1-1 did finish a while back, and only now is the push going to start in full. But Rogue, with the excellent creep spread already to basically the middle of the map, is going to buy himself a lot more time. Now, there will be a drop trying to see if it can pick off the 5th base. Yeah, it doesn't look like that 5th base is going down anytime soon. Of course, that drop does have the potential to drop into the main base. But yeah, Rogue is setting himself up for a pretty big macro game. So I'm actually a little bit concerned for our Red Terran player here. Byun, like you said earlier, has been very passive. And as the anti-Zerg player, as the player going up against a Zerg in any, you know, well, there's only 2 matchups like that. You know, you're either a Terran or you're a Protoss going up against the Zerg. You need to deal some sort of damage in the mid-game. You need to make sure that you're preventing the Zerg from powering up too strongly, but it looks like that's going to be the case here. I mean, we're seeing that hive already halfway done. Who knows? Maybe Rogue is thinking about lurker tech. Maybe he's thinking about infestors or something like that. But I'm just a little bit concerned here for Byun as we head into the mid game.
Yeah, I share your same sentiment, because a Zerg that has really not been taking a lot of losses in the mid game, like you said, it's a scary Zerg as they head into the late game. So you see Rogue already kind of gearing for that tier 3 kind of army with the Lurker Den as well as the Hive. And so far his economy has gone unscathed, and he has been able to just produce and as well as pull ahead in terms of the tech tree. And now Byun, he's gonna have to find some way. I mean, he is Byun, so there's always gonna be a chance. But I mean, look at the creep. It's already like almost halfway through to the other side. And Rogue, he has so much expansions. He's got pretty much his entire half of the map covered.
Yeah, on the other hand, Byun is only just now taking the 4th base location. Oh, and we were just talking about overlords and their army, you know, their sort of military prowess, potential, whatever. That valiant overlord with the very brave effort to keep spreading its poop and you know, fecal matter over the ground such that the command center could not be placed. But, of course, it will not survive the ordeal. Rest in peace, Overlord.
Rest in peace indeed.
Yeah, you know, it kind of feels like maybe Byun is trying something new. I don't know, I just feel like he's trying something very Maru-esque where he's skipping straight to the late game, or he's trying to skip straight to the late game, because, and the reason why I say try is because, you know, all of a sudden these Lings, Banes, and Hydras are going to roll on through. They are not going to be able to clean up the rest of this bio. They will reset, kind of, the tank count, at least towards the left side. A couple of Vipers are out now, Lurker upgrades are being researched, and a bunch of Lings are on the production tab, even a few drones as well. I believe that's to make up for some, you know, buildings and whatnot. So this is where it begins. This is where the Zerg just keeps on hammering away at the, not the Protoss, at the Terran player, in hopes that they trade efficiently enough that the Terran cannot keep rebuilding. So this is a pretty scary point for the Terran player.
Yeah. Now the only one advantage he has is that he does have 2-2 over the 1-1 of Rogue, but the 2-2 of Rogue is about to finish, so that is going to even up. But his, you know, Byun's 3-3 is like almost halfway through, so he's gonna be, you know, temporarily ahead with the upgrade. So that's the only thing that Rogue is lagging behind. But in terms of everything else, he is in solidly ahead position, advantage there. You know, he's ahead in the worker count, and now the army supply might be a bit deceiving, but because he's a little bit behind. But with Banelings on the field, that really kind of it's kind of an X factor of sorts. So you can't really take the army supply at face value. But I do like Byun's decision to do a drop here at the bottom side. But in the meantime, looks like Rogue is going to go ahead and attack this north side base.
I do like the decision of the Blinding Clouds, but I would have liked to see them possibly, you know, blanketed over more than just one siege tank at a time. This drop is getting a lot of work done. It actually, wow, it got the, I believe it got the hatchery. The spines are still up and functional, but these Marines are doing a lot of work in clearing the creep. And the medevac is actually going to get on out of there alive, so very well played by Byun. On the other hand, he did keep some of his bio alive. His tank count is reset once again, but his ghost count is going to start rising. So this is, oh man, I mean, as a Zerg player myself, Snoopy, I've seen and I've played so many games where I've lost against this kind of playstyle because, you know, maybe my gas count just, I can't keep up because I'm too inefficient with my gas. You know, for example, putting it all into Overseers, as we see here, we see a bunch of Overseers, which is pretty necessary because you need that scouting. But, you know, just because the Terran is just way too efficient. So that's how an infinite base Zerg loses against a 4 to 5 base Terran.
Yeah, I mean, we have seen those games where the Terran was just kind of turtles throughout the rest of the late game, and, you know, kind of forces the Zerg to be impatient and take inefficient trades. And
right.
Let's see. I think this is gonna actually turn out to be all right for Rogue. He does get a decent amount of workers there, although as I say that, again, it's still on 71 workers. So yeah, Byun just needs to kind of weather the storm, weather the waves, and kind of put himself in the position where he's gonna be able to maybe outlast his opponent, just based on Rogue's inefficiency, or maybe, you know, kind of build up to a kind of a unstoppable ball, a Terran ball. We heard of those unstoppable Protoss ball, but Terran can also build up like maybe like I don't know, maybe like 6 billion battle cruisers or something. I don't know.
Oh, that's the stuff of my nightmares. Wow. Okay, a very cute Marauder drop. Marauders, of course, deal bonus damage against armored units as well as buildings. Cute move, not quite enough to get anything done, especially against that many Lings. But, man, yeah, so, again, because I'm a Zerg player, I am quite biased, but I really have to ask Snoopy, how does a Zerg player break this? Do you just keep trying to find holes, you know, sorts of weak spots in the armor? Like, for example, the Vipers right now are going to come in here and they will scout out that these tanks are alone. They are actually going to be yanked as well, which is a very good move, very efficient, right? You lose some energy, which is free, and then you lose some Lings, which are minerals only. Oh, look at that! Byun saving some of the SCVs by popping them into the planetary at the last second, popping them out on the other side, and then repairing the planetary. What a Chad move. That was amazing.
Also a Chad move, taking out 2 hatcheries with just only a single medevac drop. And Byun has been able to reduce Rogue's hatchery, but he's got so much more that it doesn't really matter.
Right.
Now you ask, how does Zerg break this? How does a Zerg break a turtling Terran player as Byun is doing right now? Well, there are several options. He can maybe go for like a backdoor Nidus Worm thing, where he just goes and flies in, but looks like Byun has that covered with the sensor towers, so it'll be kind of difficult to pull that off right now. But he can start kind of taking to the Broodlord, maybe Lurker with Infestors and Vipers. I mean, the good thing about Broodlords is that they are very efficient, effective to breaking down siege positions, because of course they shoot out free units, they shoot out free broodlings, and so and then you can kind of protect them with the Vipers, Infestors, and the Lurkers below them. So maybe, you know, Rogue, I mean, he definitely has the resources to go for it, but right now he's kind of maxed out, so he's got to slowly trade out his units for that.
Right. Yeah, whatever army he needs to break this, very good point, Snoopy. It is not this army. It's definitely not going to be Hydra Bane. Hydra Bane, even though it does pair well with Lings, and of course Ling Bane Hydra is one of the fastest unit compositions that you can go. You can see how fast the Banelings are moving towards that planetary. They just don't have that staying power, right? The Liberators, even by themselves, are going to be able to deal a lot of damage to the Hydras, even though the Hydras do serve as decent-ish anti-air against Terran. But that tank count is just so deep, that tank line is way too deep. And actually, Byun is comfortable enough to push forward a little bit? Wow, okay. So this, what we're seeing right now is Byun about to position for a 5th base location. So this is pretty critical, because if Byun is allowed to take that 5th base location, the game is extended for a much longer period of time. All of that extra income, not even just the income rate, but the sheer amount of resources that each individual base has, is going to matter so much. So here we go, a bunch of SCVs are going to try to help out with the fight. The Rogue's reinforcements are going to be able to shave off a bunch of units. So it looks like for now, Rogue keeps his advantage. He does have that bank to fall back on, and I mean, it's not just minerals, it's also gas too, right? So he will have enough to hopefully clean this up, but of course his hatchery did go down.
Alright, things moving on forward. Doesn't really connect with too much. Does take out one tank, but Byun just doing his very best to just hang on by a thread here. We'll go ahead and once again attack this top left base. He really wants to take this top left side base, and the resources of Byun is kind of wearing thin. Now Rogue, that you mentioned, does have a bank, but it's not the hugest of bank, so he's got to be careful not to just like completely throw it away. So I mean,
right,
he's ahead by a lot of workers, but I mean, you still don't want to, you know, just keep throwing your units away like that.
Now, I will say one thing that is probably going to be a game-ending moment for Byun, for Rogue, is that Byun does not have any ghosts. He just realized that, so he's making 4 ghosts right now, but it's not going to be enough in time to save all these tanks, and GG is called. All the tanks go down, all the Marines go down. Rogue is going to take this game.
So, TeaDragon, you see anything interesting out on the map or anything, like, you know?
Nah, it looks pretty standard. No, I'm just kidding. He's going for a... well, actually, I'm going to be honest with you. This is not the most committed of proxies, right? It's only 2 racks, whereas we've seen things like 3-4 racks those are much more aggressive. Now, Rogue did not, in fact, scout it on time, so he will be pulling pretty much almost every single worker, which will, of course, be enough to force back all of these Marines and SCVs for the time being, but he needs to... No, okay, so this is a little bit interesting. Oh, look at that, the first Marine does go down. But I was going to say that SCV building the bunker is going to be left alone for the time being, and that could be a pretty big mistake. Lings are out on the map, but that bunker is about to complete. Will it matter, though? It looks like the drones have bought the Lings enough time. Looks like the... Oh, okay, very nice. So the Lings are going to be able to kill that SCV for now. Yeah, I don't know. How do you think this is going, Snoopy? I don't think I've quite seen a response like this before.
Yeah, that was a lot of drones that Rogue pulled. I'm a bit surprised. Usually you see at least a decent amount, but like practically all of it. I'm like, wow, that's a lot of lost mining time.
Right, right.
And let's see here. 4 drones and 6 Lings going down versus the 1 SCV and 5 Marines. I would say Byun had just a very tad advantage.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Right, nothing major like his 2 racks was shut down or anything like that, and on the other hand, nothing major such as a queen dying or all of the Lings dying or anything crazy like that. So yeah, it looks like Rogue is going to be making a lot of Lings, so he's definitely anticipating this push going further. So the queens are going to push down onto the low ground. They are going to scout out that there are indeed some more Marines, warranting the extra Ling production. Oh, and the Marines actually get a little bit surrounded. Okay, I think they could have been maybe just a little bit more efficient, but of course not the biggest of deals. Byun is just going to go ahead and pick up his 2 racks, head on home, and try to press his advantage. Oh, but... Okay, I was going to say press his economic advantage, but the low ground command center didn't even finish.
Looks like Byun will finally be able to finish that up as ECC gets done. But yeah, this is... I mean, like you said, the 2 racks wasn't that huge of a commitment. Byun was able to get so much damage done with those Marines despite only just 2 barracks, and also he has forced a lot of Lings out on the field for Rogue that has really not done too much on Byun's side of the map. So yeah, I think Rogue is on a little bit of a predicament here. He's trying to get his dirt base up, but I mean, I feel like Byun is kind of very happy with the position that he has put himself in.
Right. Now, look at this. Rogue going for even more Lings and a Roach Warren about to finish. So, how do you think about this? Like, I don't really think this is a good move because Rogue did, in fact, see the reactor on the factory, so he knows that there are going to be at least 4 Hellions out on the map. Speaking of which, these 4 Hellions are just going to run into the natural base. Oh no, Rogue, please. They're going to scout out the Roach Warren as well. They're going to roast a bunch of drones. So, this push that is coming out for Rogue is... I don't know, it kind of feels like it's destined to fail, right?
Yeah, I mean, Roaches are not the quickest of units as well, so it's going to take a bit of time for them to go across the map. These Lings will be able to get there much faster, and actually there's actually a huge opening here in the natural. He really needs to close that off. Actually, you know, as I say that, pretty much the majority of the Lings has died, so maybe it's not so bad. But yeah, he could have definitely lost a lot more than 4 SCVs. So I would say that Byun should consider himself a bit lucky that he only lost just 4 SCV. But nice, like kind of SCV control there, blocking the SCVs from getting on top of the Marines.
Exactly. The Marines were sort of kept safe and sound as the SCVs were used as the frontline workers, as the front line of defense. Now, I love this Viking being landed as well. You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of the Wings of Liberty campaign, where, okay, so GG is just going to be called. Byun is going to tie up the series, I believe.
Yep. All right, so just want to make sure and confirm. Score is 2-1 for Byun, or is it 2-2? Just let me know.
Should be 2-1. First game was the mech game. Second game was the turtle game.
Right.
And then third game was the proxies. If I recall correctly.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. It's 2-1 for Byun. All right, thank you.
Cool. Now, I'm wondering if Rogue might want to take that that blocked off pocket base. I highly doubt it, right? I mean, the benefit for Zerg definitely does not outweigh the risk. I would say that against a player like Byun could just very easily drop against that base, and then, you know, it's an investment that does not pay off for Rogue.
Yeah, I think Rogue should. Looks like he is gonna go ahead and expand to the 8 o'clock or so base, which is definitely the smarter move, as you mentioned, for the reasons as you stated.
Oh, interesting. So I think this is a sort of 2-1-1 build, it looks like, for Byun.
Yeah, looks like going back kind of an old school build. And
yeah,
Byun, definitely one of the Terrans that kind of abused this build order back in the day. He's so good with Marines, I don't blame him. Right. But pretty much almost every Terrans were going for 2-1-1 back in the day. And for a good reason. I mean, they were very highly successful and has garnered a lot of wins for Terran players. However, there was a bit of a shift since then during the Legacy of the Void days. But you do see some Terrans has kind of sprinkled it in every now and then.
Right. Now, I don't recall the specific build itself, but I do remember seeing very recently, like 2 weeks ago to a month ago, there is a variation of the 2-1-1 which allows you to get a quick third command center up and running by, like, let's say 5:30 or 6 minutes. Or, I'm sorry, it allows you to get a quick third command center, but it still allows you to hit with the full 2 medevac 16 Marine drop at either 5:30 or 6 minutes, which of course is a little bit of a delay compared to the traditional 2-1-1, which is what we're seeing here. But I don't know, I've been searching for that build, can't seem to find it right now, but once I find it, I'd love to share it with you, because I think it's a very interesting build. You know, like, you delay your push, you delay your drop by 30 seconds, but you get a whole ass base. That's a pretty good trade, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, that would definitely be great for Byun. Looks like Rogue is going to go ahead and spot this move out from Byun, although I don't think it's going to be quite committed, as the medevacs not joined with those Marines. Stim does finish, combat shield on the way. Now, will Byun wait for combat shield to attack, or will he just go for it, as he does have the medevacs?
I think that he's sort of smelling an opening. He just killed yet another Overlord. I believe he's killed a total of 2 or 3 so far, so he's definitely gotten in a lot of damage dealt to Rogue. And of course, it's not just in the fact that Overlords cost 100 minerals, but the crucial element that they do provide supply. So he did supply block Rogue for just a little bit. Looks like there will be enough queens to just barely tap that medevac. Looks like it's going to survive. A couple of Marines do go down as well. But I really like what Byun did earlier, where he pushed out the first 8 or so Marines out onto the map, he knew that his opponent probably would not be, flying enough lings around to be able to deal with the Marines, so he used them to clear creep before the medevacs came out, and now he's setting himself up for a very nice macro-based bio sort of playstyle.
Yep, and here we go. Gonna go ahead and stem on forward. Sentries, sorry, not sentries. Bingley's doesn't quite have speed yet.
Oh, wow.
And wow.
Crazy. Not even a proper GG. Oh,
Wow.
the pain.